There's been a rumor circulating over the past couple of weeks that David Haye has signed with Boxnation. Now, personally, I'm not sure if he's actually signed with them, but I'm now convinced that he at least has some type of agreement with Boxnation, a gentleman's handshake type agreement. And Frank Warren is known to do those type of deals, contractless deals, where they just shake a hand and have a verbal agreement. Although Frank Warren is not the only party involved with Boxnation that would, partake in such a thing. But regardless of that, the reason why I'm convinced that David Haye has some type of agreement with Boxnation is not because he's now started appearing in interviews on the Boxnation YouTube channel. No, that's not why. The reason is because I saw an interview with Frank Warren and he was speaking very highly of David Haye. Frank Warren has not spoken highly of David Haye for most of his career. Frank Warren is a guy who, when you're with him, he'll very rarely criticize you if you're signed to him. But if you're not with him, particularly if you're somebody that's left him or somebody that he wanted to sign but couldn't, he'll be very critical of you. And if he's not directly critical of you, he'll be critical of the opportunities that you would get, for example. But when it comes to David Haye, all of a sudden Frank Warren is speaking very highly of him. He's saying, well, he's won his 2 comeback fights and so he deserves to get a shot at the WBO title, the winner of Joseph Parker versus Andy Ruiz. And he's also been saying that Klitschko don't deserve a shot. Yeah, Klitschko did lose to Tyson Fury, but he had a rematch clause in place. And prior to that, he was fighting world title fight after world title fight. Who's David Haye been fighting? Ordinarily, in my opinion, Frank Warren would be criticizing David Haye right now, saying that his 2 fights were a joke. In fact, he may have actually criticized those 2 fights. In fact, I'm sure he did. I'm sure I made a video about Frank Warren being heavily critical of David Haye's 2 comeback fights. But now all of a sudden he's David Haye's best friend. And come to mention it, Frank Warren has always had a very close relationship with the WBO. In fact, the WBO would probably credit, I can't speak for them, so I'm just giving you my opinion, but I think they would probably credit Frank Warren for a lot of their success, because during the 1990s, they were not seen as a legitimate sanctioning body. But because Frank Warren kept working with them, he helped them build up their profile and eventually become recognized as a legitimate sanctioning body. Given the relationship he has with them, could that explain why David Haye has inexplicably or seemingly inexplicably got this high ranking with the WBO, where he's basically mandatory challenger for the winner of Joseph Parker versus Andy Ruiz without having to fight an eliminator? Maybe that explains it because of Frank Warren's involvement. Again, this is just speculation. I don't have any solid proof, but these things which I've just talked about are what are leading me to believe that there is some type of arrangement with David Haye and Boxnation. I've also heard that there is the possibility of David Haye fighting on Channel 5. And I've even heard some people talking about ITV, so I don't know. Maybe he has a deal where he can go between broadcasters depending on the opportunity. Perhaps Boxnation will still get a cut of the money regardless. I don't know exactly how it may work. This is just out there speculation at the moment. But if you've got any more information on the situation with David Haye possibly signing to Boxnation, please drop it in the comment section below and enlighten us all. I'd be very interested to find out what you know. And perhaps this David Haye Boxnation thing will be a case of David Haye fighting on the Boxnation pay-per-view platform rather than just fighting on regular Boxnation. Because David Haye don't seem like the kind of guy. I know he has fought on Boxnation before, obviously, the Derek Chisora fight, but that was a big event. I can't see him fighting just some random person on Boxnation. I think he's only going to be involved in a big event. And again, just to reiterate, perhaps it could be on the Boxnation pay-per-view platform. So, yeah, before I start going around in circles, I'm going to end the video right here. Let me know what you think about everything I talked about. And, yeah, drop it all in the comment section below. It's your boy Hatman, I'm out.